Hello and welcome to Pet Pals, the show that features the animals of Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. My name is Sean Snyder and I'll be sitting in for Linda Shea today. With me is Randy, who's with us almost every week. And Randy is holding on to Achilles. Achilles is a 5-year-old pit bull mix, and you can see he is definitely a mix. It looks like he may have some lab, he has some speckling color, so he is definitely a mix of a couple different breeds. He is around 80 pounds, and it looks like he's current on most vaccinations. He came to us as a return to shelter, meaning he was adopted from our facility at one point. The people decided they could not keep him and then brought him back, which that is part of our contract. We always want any animal we adopt out back if you can no longer keep them. They indicated that he loves his kitty, so he lived with a cat and that he loved the interaction with the cat. So a lot of times people ask, is this dog good with cats? So that's nice to know when people turn in their dog, how the dog has done with cats. He also said he likes to patrol the house at night before he goes to bed. So, you know, that's somewhat characteristic of more of a shepherd or something like that patrolling. So that goes to show the different breeds. The folks who filled out his profile didn't indicate why they were giving it up. But one of our staff people said that they thought that they were moving and they could not take him along. So, and it is sad, it looks like he was given up before, about a year ago, and for the same reason. The people were moving and they couldn't take him with them. So anybody who has a pet, it is hard when you have to move, and obviously we're here as a resource to maybe help you find apartments that are pet friendly. We have a list of places that accept pets, what their weight limit is, what their breed requirements are, those kinds of things. So if you're in Frederick County, you're moving within Frederick County, maybe we can at least point you in the right direction if you have to move, because obviously keeping a dog with you is where they'd love to stay, or a cat for that matter. Achilles has adapted to the shelter very easily. He's a happy-go-lucky dog, and each dog is different though. Some dogs come in, they've been kenneled before, they get used to our routine, whereas some may come in, they're a little more shy, they're a little more hesitant. So Achilles is doing well here at the adoption center. Being 5 years old, he does qualify for a discount, so his fee is reduced by $20, and it looks like he will be having a birthday here in November. So once again, this is Achilles. You can see he likes his treats, and he's available for adoption here at Frederick County Animal Control. Our next guest is Scarlett, who is a wire-haired Jack Russell. She actually almost looks like between a smooth coat and a wire-haired Jack Russell Terrier. We aged her to be 5 to 6 years old. It looks like when she came in, we've given her a few vaccinations, and then the standard treatment we give all dogs when they come in to ensure they're protected their health is safe here at the shelter. She came to us as a stray, and she actually came in with a friend named Herb, who is also a Jack Russell Terrier. Because they're strays, we don't know if they're related, if they were just running around together, but being two Jack Russells, they're about the same age, they're probably related somehow. How they came to us is a little bit different of a story. They were actually taken to a local vet hospital by a citizen. And where they were found was the person indicated between Washington County and Frederick County. So he didn't know the exact location. So what happened was the local vet hospital called us. We went down and picked them up. So what we do when that happens is, obviously we now have the dog, and if someone files a lost report looking for the two Jack Russells, we hope to make a reunion. We also, because it was a border, and we do this with any animal that comes to us from a border county, we actually called Washington County and said, hey, we have two Jack Russells that were found in between Frederick and Washington County, and we filed a lost report with them, or a found report, I should say, with them, that they know they're down here, and now they're up for adoption, but if an owner came forward in Washington County, they could obviously come down here and reclaim the dogs. So both dogs are on the adoption floor. Herb's actually having some surgery today. Scarlett's here with us at the show, and it looks like they came to us on the 13th of July. So Jack Russells, a lot of people get caught up in how cute they are and how small they are. Jack Russells are a small dog that have a big dog mentality. So a lot of people don't necessarily know what they're getting into when they get a Jack Russell. And if you remember from last week, we had several Jack Russell puppies. Jack Russells can have a really hard, strong prey drive, so they can want to chase cats or maybe kill cats. They can want to go after groundhogs and squirrels and rabbits and all kinds of animals like that. So if anyone is interested in adopting a Jack Russell, whether it's Scarlett or another Jack Russell here, we encourage you to do research on the breed. Like I said, a lot of people get caught up in, oh, it's a small dog, it's so cute. But at the same time, they can be very strong-willed dogs. So what we want always is successful adoption. So we want people to be prepared. We want people to know what they're getting into. And that is part of the reason we have our adoption interview. It's not a prove to me you're good enough, but it's more of, here's what we know about the dog. Here are some generalizations about the breed. Are you aware of these things? So, and it's a conversation, so people are set up for success rather than failure. Our next dog is Sybil, and she may be a familiar face. She was on Pet Pals mid-June, and she is still here at the shelter. And one of the questions I get a lot when I go out into the community or I'm talking to people here at the shelter is, how long do you keep them? Our shelter is very progressive, and we have no time limit on any animal. As long as an animal is healthy and stays temperamentally sound, it stays here at our shelter until it's available for adoption. Now, every once in a while, we'll have an animal that maybe will be on the adoption floor, and then it gets moved out to foster care to take a little break from the shelter environment, and then comes back to the shelter. So as you can see, Sybil is a very active dog, and she's going to require a family that is active and able to work with her some. She is going to be 4 years old in November, and as you can see, she is a pit bull mix. One of the things Sybil needs work on is her leash manners. She could use some training on leash walking appropriately. What we have noticed is that she has a very strong prey drive. If you've ever been to the shelter in our backyard, it's about 3 acres of unfenced area, and as soon as you take her out there, she is on the hunt. She is looking for groundhog, squirrels, rabbits. So she needs someone that can maybe refocus her attention and try and have her walk nicely on the leash. Someone who maybe runs, someone who goes and does outdoor activities. We actually have a little tunnel that dogs can go through, and she runs through the tunnel. So I'm not saying she'll ever be an agility dog, but she seems to thrive on exercise like that. And obviously, a well-exercised dog is an easier dog to train and stay focused. If you can see her right now, which you can see she has that endearing ear, the ears go up over top of her head when she's interested or she's curious about something. That is a very, like I said, endearing look for her. She was given up by her previous owner because, once again, the person was moving. So I think I said earlier about that help us help you maybe find a place that'll take a pet. It looks like that she did not share her home with any other pets. So if you were to have another dog and you wanted your dog to meet Sybil, we encourage that. We call that a meet and greet. So you could bring your dog to the shelter. They'd meet on neutral ground. We'd see how that'd go. Sometimes people say, you know what, it went good, but I'd like to try it again. Obviously, you're more than welcome to come back a second day and let them meet again because, as I've mentioned several times, we want to set everyone up for success. It looks like she's lived around children of all ages, but being a dog this big and this rambunctious, obviously you'd have to monitor her around very young kids that are maybe just starting to walk or easily are knocked over because they're not quite as steady yet, because she is a large dog. We have her weight as 67 pounds, so she's pushing 70 pounds, and she has a lot of muscle on there, so she could easily knock someone over, even an elderly person or just someone who's not paying attention, fairly easy with her big size. Our next girl is Callie. She is an Australian Shepherd Hound mix, and she's 3 years old. Callie has quite a history here at the shelter. This is her 4th time here in less than 2 months. So we'll try and start from the beginning. Her first time here, she was given up by her owner because she kept running off the farm. So she was a farm dog. Obviously, a lot of farms don't have fences or things like that to contain them, and they just got tired of hunting her down or bringing her back or picking her up at the shelter. So she was here for a few days, and she was adopted out. That family kept her for about 2 weeks, and what they said was, she's too big. And she's not really that big of a dog. She weighs 50 pounds. I'd put her more in the larger medium size than a large dog, but that's what they told us. So another family adopted her. This family took her home, and they kept her for about a month, and they had kids. And what they saw over time was that Callie started growling at the kids. And they had one of the children was about 5 years old, and at one point Callie charged the youngest and was growling. And it happened a second time, and they felt uncomfortable with Callie. And sometimes people return animals, and we understand. Sometimes we question the reasons. Obviously, you have to ensure your kids are safe. And if an animal gets to the point where your kids aren't comfortable or your kids are scared, that can be difficult. So what we've come to realize maybe is that here at the shelter, Callie presents herself as a laid-back, calm, mellow dog. But what we're seeing is that maybe once she gets used to an environment, she starts to settle in, and she may try and assert herself over other people in the house that are smaller, younger, that kind of thing. So what we're doing now is we're encouraging her to go to a home that is older children, 12 plus, or an adult home only. She does have a lot to offer. She just needs to find the right home, and we're helping her find that home by putting her through somewhat of a different process. We refer to it as our puppy process. So most dogs Callie's age, we take 2 applications, and it does work first come, first serve. So the first applicant is typically given an interview. They typically take the animal home. With our puppy process, we actually take 4 applications, and we pick who's the best fit. Because what we don't want to see is Callie a 5th time here at the shelter. So she is a very loving dog. She enjoys sitting on the couch, snuggling with people. Our next guest is Cheyenne. She's a 2-year-old Chihuahua, and with Cheyenne is her foster mom, Ruth Mills, one of our kennel staff here. Cheyenne came to us as a return to shelter, meaning she was adopted and brought back to us. She was brought back for what the person said was nipping at people, and then also that she would make odd noises, things like that. So first, the nipping part, what they indicated was that she was nipping at people that would visit the house and that she nipped at the vet. What we have found with Cheyenne is that she doesn't necessarily adapt to new situations, new people quickly. She can, over time, adapt to those situations, but some dogs, they go into a new place, it's like nothing new. Other dogs are just more shy, they're just more scared. Just like people, every person is different. Some people don't like change, while some people thrive on it. As far as the noises, it seemed like the noises she was making, the whimpering, the half barking, came from when they were crating her or she was in a kennel. And what Ruth has indicated is that Cheyenne enjoys being with people, sitting on your lap, snuggling with you. So probably what was happening was Cheyenne knew someone was in the house, so she wanted to get with them and spend time with them. Cheyenne was the first time brought to us by an owner as well. We did not find her as a stray. So the first time she was here, the people said they were moving out of state and that they could not take the dog, or where they found, the landlord did not allow them to have dogs. So it looks like in her previous home that she had been around other dogs but not cats. And what Ruth has indicated is that Ruth has a few dogs and that Cheyenne enjoys the company of the other dogs in the house, that there's no issues with any of the other dogs. However, Ruth has a cat or 2 as well. Cheyenne does not prefer the company of cats. She will chase them. So it'd probably be best if she went to a home that didn't have cats. So ultimately, our goal for Cheyenne is to find her a home that is not active, meaning there's not young kids running around, there's not screaming, people are gone for numerous hours during the day. Obviously we understand people work, but you know, a busy family that works and then has to take kids to practices and everything else, Cheyenne enjoys companionship. Ruth, her foster mom, is willing to talk to anybody, talk about her experience with fostering Cheyenne. This is actually her second time. Cheyenne is here at the shelter whenever Ruth is working. However, when Ruth is off, she is at home with Ruth. So if you were to come here and Cheyenne's not here, just ask at the front desk and we'll arrange a time for you to come in and meet her. Next up, after a short break, we'll take a look at 5 cats available for adoption here at the shelter.
Did you know that one of the leading causes of death in America is motor vehicle accidents? Hello, I'm Sergeant Jody Maybush at the Frederick County Sheriff's Office. According to the Maryland Motor Vehicle Administration, each year traffic crashes kill more people in Maryland than homicides, and over 90% of total crashes are preventable incidents caused by driver error. Motorists can help law enforcement in preventing these tragedies by making the right choices on the road. Remember, speed kills, so slow down. For every mile per hour that you drive, the likelihood of you being involved in a crash significantly increases. Avoid distractions such as talking, texting, or emailing while you drive, and always wear your safety belt. The most important thing is that you arrive to your destination safely. So please, drive smart and help us in keeping Maryland roadways safe.
Welcome back. Now we'll take a look at 5 cats that are available for adoption here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. Our first guest is Mia. Mia is a 9-year-old domestic medium hair cat, and you can see she's a brown tabby and she has some white spots on her belly and neck. So being a little bit longer hair, she will need some care for her fur, some help with brushing. We noted that when she came in that there was a mat around her neck that we had to help cut. We cut out and we kind of worked out with the brush somewhat. So as cats get older, it can be harder for them to take care of their coat if they're longer hair. So she'll need someone that can help out, maybe brush her every day, brush her every other day. Being 9 years old, she does qualify for a discount here at the shelter. Just like older dogs, she receives $20 off her adoption fee. So Mia actually came to the shelter as a stray and was picked up by an animal control officer off Dominion Drive in Frederick, and that's the 21702 zip code. She did have a chip. However, we were not able to gain any information from the chip except that her name is Mia. So when animals come in as strays, we obviously provide them with care, medical care, so they're protected when they're in the shelter environment with a bunch of other cats or dogs or whatever the animal is. So it looks like we've provided her with a distemper vaccination. We give all cats a general dewormer, give them a flea and tick preventative. We give them a full exam, so from their skin, their ears, their eyes, we weigh them. Obviously scan for microchips. And then all cats on our adoption floor have been tested for feline leukemia and feline AIDS, so she tested negative for both of those viruses. So she's here at the shelter. We hope by putting her on TV shows and market her in different ways that maybe her owner will find out that she's at the shelter. So we would love to reunite an owner with a cat, a dog, whoever comes here as a stray. But a lot of times people just don't come and look here. So if you are missing an animal, you should file lost reports with us. So that's our goal for any animal that comes in as a stray. Animals move to the adoption floor if they're strays. They're available for the public, and obviously we do our best to provide all information that we ascertain while they're here. I see that she's been color-coded blue, which means she is a more relaxed, a more calm cat. She adapts to change fairly well. She's a cat that enjoys sitting on your lap. So the blue-colored cats are typically the easiest to handle, the calmest, the most relaxed cats. So this is Mia. She's available here at the shelter. Just stop at the front desk and ask to see her. Our next guest is Ralph. He is a 4-month-old kitten, domestic short hair, and he's brown tabby with white. Looks like he arrived at the shelter on April 15th, and he came in with a sibling. So during that time, he hasn't been here the whole time. We obviously utilize our foster care program for underage kittens. I believe I read that he came to us at about 2 weeks old, and he lives with a foster family where he's raised and cared for and all of those things. And then he comes back to the shelter when he's able to be adopted, which at our shelter, we adopt kittens out once they reach 3 pounds or more. So it's not an age. Typically, it's between 10 and 12 weeks because that's when kittens reach their 3 pounds, but it's more of a wait so that we can spay and neuter them before they leave. So it's unfortunate how Ralph and his sister came to us. They were actually abandoned in a parking lot. So they were found in a carrier just left in a parking lot. Some people think that if they bring their pet to the shelter that they're going to get in trouble or there's a fee associated with it. That is not true. Any Frederick County resident can bring any domesticated animal to us. The majority are cats and kittens, but we also take in fish and goats and reptiles and all kinds of animals. So we are a county-funded agency, so we are here to serve the residents of Frederick County. We do ask some questions, but it's not to be invasive, but rather to find out more information about the animal, but also to know where the animal came from. In case the animal gets sick, we want to be able to contact the person who brought the animal in. So, that's why we ask for address and phone number, those kinds of things. So Ralph is available for adoption. He's one of many kittens now. Kittens are coming back to the shelter almost daily. So if you've been wanting a kitten, now's the time. You pretty much have a pick of any color, any gender that you want. Getting a kitten now, it's sometimes a good time to get a second kitten. If you don't have any cats, young kittens can keep each other company. So it is all right, obviously, if you want to adopt two, and we somewhat incentivize that by giving you a discount on the second adoption. So cat adoption fee is $97.50. That includes taking care of spaying or neutering, microchipping. They have a distemper vaccination, your rabies vaccination, your first vet visit. Most vets in Frederick County participate in our adoption program, so they'll let you bring your new pet in there for just a general health exam. And then a Frederick County cat license. A lot of people have probably heard us talk about licenses over the years on Pet Pals. And what a lot of people don't know, in Frederick County, cats are to have a license just like a dog. It runs concurrent with your rabies tag, and when your rabies vaccination expires, so does your county license. If your pet's spayed or neutered, that'll cost you $7.50 a year. If it's not spayed or neutered, it's $15 a year. So Ralph is one of the many kittens here at the shelter. If you're interested, like I said earlier, in a kitten, now's the time to come and get the pick of the litter.
You're just being as cute as you can be, aren't you?
Our next guest is Xochi. She's a domestic short hair. She's 2 years old now, but she'll be celebrating a birthday in about 1 month. Her birthday is September 1st of 2012. So it's always nice when we have animals here, we know their birthday, because when people adopt animals, they like to know that. And when we don't know a birthday, a lot of people use the adoption day as the birthday or whatever. So her coloring is somewhat unique. We have it down as smoked Torby with white. So she's a little exotic in her coloring. She's current on rabies, current on distemper. Looks like she weighs 12.5 pounds, which our vet thinks she's a little bit overweight. Not obese, but just a little bit overweight. So Xochi is also a return to shelter. And if you're keeping track this episode, that is our 4th return to shelter in this episode. So, like I said in a previous segment, that we try and give everybody all the information we have to set you up for success. So why she was brought back to us was, it's a different one, that's for sure. A lot of times we get moving, allergies, those kinds of things. But what the person indicated was that she became protective of the dining area, and it was a main traffic area, and she would hiss at people, and she would especially hiss at young grandchildren who were 5 and 3 years old, and the grandkids became scared to come over. So issues like that can arise with any pet, and we're also here as a resource to help you maybe work through problems. Maybe something the person could have done is deny access to that area so she couldn't be protective of that area. We're here to help you keep your pet. We don't want people to return animals or just bring an animal to us that they can't keep. Unfortunately, by the time the person has the animal here at the shelter, it's pretty much a done deal. They're turning the animal in. So, a call to us, we might be able to help you work through some things. So if you are having any problem with your pets, please give us a call first. And like I said, maybe we can help you keep your pet in your home. Her previous owner did indicate that she is a lap cat. And what I've seen of her, I've interacted with her once or twice, and she does enjoy sitting on your lap. So she might do well with someone who enjoys sitting in a recliner at night watching TV, older person, even a younger person. The previous owner thought that she might not do well in a home with young kids again. So we would probably encourage people with very young kids to maybe look at a different cat because of that history of hissing at the 5 and 3-year-old. Once again, her name is Xochi, and she's here at the shelter available for adoption. Our next cat is Sunshine. Sunshine is a domestic short hair. She's orange tabby, one of my favorite color cats, and she's approximately 2 years old. Now, she is a female. Most orange tabbies are male, so that's probably around 70%, something like that. There are female orange tabbies, but it's more common for orange tabbies to be male cats rather than female cats. Sunshine actually came in with another cat named Fluffy, and Fluffy has been adopted. So sometimes people say, oh, you didn't keep them together. We do evaluate if cats need each other for a good emotional life. So we do have animals that we consider bonded, and that will be noted on their cage, and they must be adopted together. The shelter staff here felt that Sunshine and Fluffy could live a happy life without each other, so they lived in the same cage while they were here, but then Fluffy was adopted and Sunshine's still here. So, sometimes those cats that are living together, whether they're bonded or not, when people are looking for two cats that we know they get along, we steer people in that direction. So Sunshine's story, it looks like she was actually found and then someone cared for her for 2 weeks. So they kept her for 2 weeks. And during that time, they weren't able to locate the owner, so they brought her to the shelter. Obviously, we still have her here. That's been since the beginning of June. So her owner could have came here and looked for her as well, but no one has come forward and said, that's my cat. She's a cat that definitely will take a little time to acclimate to a new home. I think sometimes people feel they take the cat home, right away it's their best friend. For a lot of cats, it takes a little settling in time. That's why we encourage people to confine a cat to maybe one area of the house so they can get used to your routine, they can know where their litter box is at. Obviously, you're giving them new food, your water may taste different, so it just allows cats a short period of time to get used to a new routine, new people, a new environment. So that is how we set people up, or I should say we try and set people up for success when they're adopting a cat from us. That's it for this week's edition of Pet Pals. I hope you join us next week. Remember, you can always connect with us in many different ways. Pet Pals is obviously one way. We have a weekly column and featured pets in the Sunday edition of the Frederick News Post. We have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. Both of those are great ways to follow the progress of the animals here at the shelter. And then every Tuesday morning, we do Pet of the Week on WFRE and WFMD. We hope you join us next week.